Okay, everybody, welcome to Early Art Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs. It's time to talk about a thrilling win for Mizzou, 30-27 over Kansas State. First, I need you guys to do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, give us likes on Facebook, Instagram, and on X. Like this video, all the things. All right. Yeah, it's a thrilling win for Missouri, guys. Clearly, biggest win of the Drinkwitz era. I don't think there's any doubt about that. And badly needed, badly needed. The most exciting that Pro Field has been since what, 2014 when Mizzou won the East over Arkansas. Probably the most exciting because remember when Missouri beat LSU in 2020, defending national champions, all that, it was still COVID year. So the stadium's half full or whatever it was. I think we're talking 2014 to find an environment as exciting as what we saw at Fairfield Field on Saturday. Now for the gameplay, we're going to start with good, which is a good majority of the game. Brady Cook, best game he's ever played. Not particularly close. First game he's ever been above 300 yards passing. 356 was his final tally there. Pair of touchdowns through the air, both to Luther Burden, and then he added a rushing touchdown of his own. And equally as important, name one throw where you're like, ooh, almost intercepted. He got away with one there. I can't think of one. He's taking good care of the ball. I'm trying to recall the stat they showed, but this is, I think I'm going off the top of my head, so forgive me if this is incorrect. 9 games in a row without an interception for Brady Cook, which is tied for the third longest for an SEC quarterback in like the last 20 years or something like that. I don't remember if I've got that stat correct entirely, but the point is he's taking great care of the ball, and suddenly it's at least in recent history, it's at an historic level. So well done, Brady Cook. This is well earned for him. And don't forget, second half, he was playing on one leg. He sprained his knee. I couldn't believe that he was able to actually go out there if it's a legit sprain. That's wild to me. Just further cementing the one thing that we knew about Brady Cook is no one questioned his toughness and his desire. And that was on display once again. Now with the offense, Luther Burden is a monster. I mean, come on. 7 catches, buck 14, and a pair of touchdowns. And, both of his touchdowns, those are the catches where it looked like the least amount of effort. And that's just, I mean that as a compliment to him in that, think of the deep ball. He was just kind of gliding. It didn't even look like he was running at 100%. And he was. It's just it's effortless. It's a tribute to his talent level, his ability. That he just kind of glided right by the Kansas State defenders and was just gone. And then, there were other plays where he just catch the ball and just make the entire defense look silly. The AP article said that Luther Burden spent most of the game making a, quote, mockery of the Kansas State defense. And it's right. Whoever wrote that was right. It was unbelievable how he could just shift by guys aside from just blowing right by him. But it wasn't just Brady Cook to Luther Burden. That was the fear was, all right, we got Burden. Who else? Well, Theo Weiss got involved. You had Marquise Johnson with a deep ball for his first collegiate catch. Brett Nordfleet appeared to be more involved. He's getting progressively more involved as his true freshman campaign continues. That, I think, is going to be a very big key where there's a legitimate tight end threat. Mekhi Miller was out there giving it a go, and he was able to go, but he had stitches on one hand. In the presser, they said that he had a stitch pop out during the game. And come on, a wide receiver with stitches in his hand. Yeah, what are you going to do, right? So, we'll see for the Memphis game and going forward if he kind of gets more involved. But spreading the ball around and having defenders having to account for Burden and Weiss and Johnson and Miller and Norfleet. We're not talking about 2007 Missouri in terms of receivers, but it still makes the job harder for the defense, right? So that's a good thing. I think it was clear that Missouri held back. If nothing else, they just didn't have as many deep shots into the playbook for the first couple of games. And you hear teams all the time talk about, were they just, going vanilla to not show everything? And it's never really true, but it sure looked like it for this game for the Missouri offense. It was a different offense. It's wild just how different. It looked explosive. There were shots down the field all day. And by the fourth quarter, instead of, just, dink and dunk 5-yard outs and handing the ball to Cody Schrader, it was, come on, take more shots down the field. That's what's working best. And it's a complete 180. It was wild. All of this. We hadn't even talked about Harrison Mevis, with the boot of his life. I don't think anybody questioned whether he could kick the ball far enough for a 61-yard field goal or 56. We'll talk about that in a minute. But it was, from that far, the accuracy, of course. But man, that thing was pure right off the bat. Anybody watching on TV was like, wait a minute, that's online. And it was a matter of will it get there? That's a all-pro Justin Tucker type of kick that Mevis made. And he certainly got NFL scouts' attention with that boot. Yeah, super fun. And yeah, I'm well on this. Emphasize the positives because this has the potential to be a springboard and gigantic for the program. It does. I picked 7-5 in the preseason preview video we had with this game being a loss. Changing this to a win and looking how Kentucky has performed, looking at Tennessee not being the same explosive offense. And even though Florida beat Tennessee, they're still not quite there. All these teams, Carolina, I won't say it's all in front of Mizzou, but there's a chance for them to have 8, maybe even 9 wins. It looks more realistic. If they want to get there, there are things they got to shore up. The defense was not perfect. Will Howard he did what he wanted for a decent amount of the game. A lot of the problems were kind of self-inflicted with him. He threw some bad balls. The defense did get their first turnover of the season, the pick by Chris Abrams-Drain. I'd like to see the pass defense be a little sharper. But you know what? They held a top 15 team 27 points. On not their best day. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough for a win. Special teams. Mevis had his kick. Kansas State got some returns, though. Again, you want to clean it up. Not perfect. I'm not going to emphasize it too much on a day like this. After a game like this, guys. I'm just not going to. I'll let the coaches handle it. I guess the pollsters, the voters in both polls, impressed, but not too impressed. Mizzou is the second team outside of the top 25, effectively 27 in both polls. Florida is 25 in the AP poll, leapfrogging Missouri there, which the same team that lost against Utah. I understand Utah's good, but I'm not too sure about that one. And the coaches poll, 27th. right behind the team they just beat, Kansas State. So think of that what you will. That's all I've got, guys. Yes, it wasn't perfect, but it was potentially a program defining win going forward. And I'd say for this season, it almost certainly saved Drinkwitz's job. Barring a complete collapse, his job's safe for this year. So we can forget about talking about that. All right, guys, that's all I've got. Thank you for checking out this video. Keep tuned here Under the Arch Sports. We're going to cover more Mizzou. Blues are starting STL City this close to clinching a playoff berth. The Cardinals season mercifully coming to an end. I promise I'll do a video at some point. It's just, come on. It's too depressing to do a Cardinals video. Let's face it. That's it, guys. Thank you for checking out this video. See you guys next time.